some cinematic pan action. I feel like we should have the Star Wars music for this.
Today's the day.
I'm just doing what I'm told. So I'm just standing by waiting to be told.
That's a first. No. Tim and I are gonna tackle bending up the two main lower rails for the center spine of the chassis on the Datsun this time. So.
This janitor outfit on right now.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just keeping it real. Working on the Z is not something, this is a luxury, and I have to move all these other really cool cars out of the way just to work on my own thing. We gathered all the data, input it into BendTech, and designed up the rails. It should be pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to it, and let's do it. So there's our piece, and if we come on over here, Tim, it tells us right here exactly what the cut length is. So one of the main rails, we got to cut it to exactly 107.345 inches.
Okay.
All right. He's got this.
I got it.
So this is 1.5 inch diameter by 120 wall DOM steel tubing. Generating the info in BendTech took quite a bit, and we had to find very specific points in space. In BendTech, they call them pick points. Those are like intersection points of a bend, and those I got simply by taking an example bent 90-degree piece of the exact material that I got. If you imagine another straight line or straight edge here, this little point in space, right in here, that is one of the pick points that you need when inputting the data into BendTech. When you've gathered all of those pick points to what you're creating, you simply input them. The program tells you exactly what bend angle it is, where to start your bend, and where to start the next bend in space. So there's a lot to think about, especially for what I got going on, because I chose my tubing in open space to be where the suspension pivot points are. So
we need to make BendTech a sponsor before we go any further with the commercial.
Okay. Okay.
I say we just refer to it as the software until they send us money.
Hey.
Just saying,
so,
BendTech.
This is just the last little bit of crop right here?
Yeah.
Sweet. I was actually a little bit nervous if we had enough material. There's 6 bends in each of the 2 main rails. So some of them are pretty subtle, like I think 2 of them are 2 degrees of bend each. So very, very slight. Yeah. It's been a long time a coming. This very day bending this. It's pretty exciting.
I gotta employ this really cool technique that I learned on TikTok. I learned all my fabrication skills come from TikTok. I'm scribing a center line onto the tubes. So by Siamesing them together and running a file across the face, I just scribe a permanent center line into it.
This is that TikTok thing you were talking about?
Yep, I learned it on TikTok.
Hey, dude.
That's pretty cool.
So it's not all just fluff.
Yeah, so whoever says social media is a waste of time, is a dirty liar.
That's a pretty cool hack.
So after several hundred hours of TikTok viewing, that is the one small gem that I learned from it. Are you ready?
Yep.
I'm going for it.
Yep.
Maybe you missed your calling.
It's supposed to be a basketball.
Yeah. shortest basketball player in history.
So the next one's at 41.416.
41.416.
Yep.
What does DOM stand for?
Drawn over mandrel.
Why do you use DOM?
Because it's pushed over a mandrel, so then it's perfectly round. And because you have no weld seam, it makes nicer, cleaner bends. Because when you have the weld seam, it's hard in that one spot, so it doesn't bend perfect.
Okay. The more you know.
The more you know. Tim's Tech Tips.
Now we have to put something on here so we can measure the amount of rotation in degrees.
Oh shit. That's pretty whizzy. Don't tell them that we didn't come up with that.
What do you mean? I just did right now. Like, in this very moment.
You know how many people are going to be looking on the internet for that thing? Like, oh shit. That's going to be the first comment, like, hey, where did I get that thing? Be like, we made it.
Elvis can watch. Now just hang on, I gotta measure this to make sure that we're on
60%
center.
of the time, this works every time.
Okay. Okay, we're perfectly straight up and down. Okay. One thing that we gotta do is we gotta put the pipe wrapper on and transfer these lines all the way around these tubes. Otherwise we will lose that when we rotate.
You can make this out of a toilet paper roll and popsicle sticks.
Man, I don't know. I'm like super nervous about this. This is crazy.
I'm not. I do this shit all the time.
Do you? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're gonna be my wingman today on this.
Go ahead.
Let's do it.
I'll lay the other one out.
No, let's just bend.
You can bend by yourself.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
You got this.
I'm scared.
He's just trying to put this shit on me.
I am.
He wants me to share in his failures.
My failures?
I
Man,
only
that's
share
negative juju.
victories only. Anytime you ask your wife, there's never going to be money for cool shit. Like never.
So just do it and then tell her afterwards?
Yeah.
Advice from Tim.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't tell your wife anything.
Oh.
You can put that on YouTube too, because she already knows. That's the number one. She's like, I don't even want to hear about it.
Oh man.
What happened?
Nothing. No, Tim's life advice. That's what happened.
Okay, my life advice only applies to me. I have a very unique situation. Do not try this at home.
Yeah, let's put there's a little disclaimer in there.
Yeah, we need a disclaimer. You will not get away with what I get away with.
You will not survive the night.
No, you will not make it. Because it goes both ways.
I think there's a certain amount of truth to that, but I'm not gonna agree nor disagree.
On camera. You have to squint a little bit when you do stuff. Then you look like a real craftsman. Just put one eye on it. All the best craftsmen do the squinty eye thing.
Yeah.
It's mostly because they
makes you look
refuse to-
deep and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Like it's very profound.
Mostly because they refuse to
Really
wear their
important.
glasses.
Yeah. Let's be real.
Now we wait.
And while we wait, we hydrate.
Your
Okay. The dial says 20. Let's see. There's no more spring in it. And we're looking pretty close right there. I'd say that's good. That's that one. Whew. First bend done. 5 more to go. So the next one we have to rotate it 177 degrees from the 0 point. And that's my 0 point, which is actually 2.3. And this is 180. 177 is somewhere right over in here, somewhere, logically. Here's 90. And it's a negative, so it goes this way, not this way. So it's actually over here. Okay.
If you don't pick up the pace, we're going to be going vintage racing.
Yeah, I know, right? Supposed to be a professional.
May not look like it, but we do this all the time.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now we are on the start point. Now we just need to orientate it properly. So 177 plus 2.3 degrees, basically almost 180 degrees of rotation. So we're gonna rotate. This right here, this space right here represents the lower frame tube right next to the engine. So off of this point in space, the lower A-arm mounts will be made.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we're coming around the bell housing of the transmission here. A couple of light bends. We're going to work our way down through the trans tunnel and back up and around the diff.
This is a lot shorter than I would have thought.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way to basically the area where the rad support and intercooler and everything is. I actually left it, it's probably about 6 inches in front of where the accessory drive situation on front of the LS engine is. So I left it a little bit short. I'll end up adding onto that later on down the way. Because I'm gonna be refabricating a fully tubular front rad support area.
Do you
and all
calculate
that.
spring back in this? This number that it gives you?
No, I'm just doing it manually right now.
Shooting for absolute precision.
Absolute precision. Okay. Wow. Okay, I think you got it.
No,
Can we transfer that over to something else? Okay, we need that over here.
5.9.
All right. I think we got about 2 degrees of spring back. The amount of degrees of spring back isn't always constant. Like if you bend a 90, it might have more degrees of spring back than say a 45 does. It's weird. Come on, it sounded smart, right?
Well, it did. But I think it has to do with a lot of other things.
I think there's probably all sorts of other things.
Of the equation.
You're probably right.
You gotta throw words like metallurgical and stuff into it.
Yeah.
Then you sound really smart.
Sprinkle it here and there.
Just a little sprinkle though. Don't want to get too crazy. People got to be able to follow along,
You gotta
right?
line up the molecules in the metal based on its metallurgy.
Holy man.
Good.
Yeah.
going to
So we're going to 5.
When Rob's car looks like it's going down the road sideways. It'll still look super cool though.
What do they call that something though too? What do they get? It's like dog walking or something. It was some weird.
But you'll always have that super dope 3/4 view because the car will actually be.
Oh my god.
Come on. This is what we're building. Now, these are the lower main tubes that Tim is cleaning up right now. And up here are the two main upper tubes. But you can kind of see that in the front of the car, this is the tubing area of the main frame that surrounds the engine. There's the transmission there, so it flares out and around, and then they got the driveline area and then the rear diff. So it's pretty cool. All right. That was difficult. Making those two lower rails was really hard. It's getting easier with a little bit of experience, but those ones were, those two lower rails and these two upper rails are quite literally the two most complicated parts of the whole chassis build on the Z. And of course, those are the ones I got to start with because, yeah, just jump in with both feet, sink or swim.
Building race cars is easy.
Before I do this, there's one thing I have to do. Because this is the first bend of the night, I need to get my angle finder and my little gauge here so we can make sure everything is going to be just A-okay.
I thought he was going to pray to the car god.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought exactly this. I was like, let's say a prayer before we start.
I was waiting for the cheese to come. And it never came. Like ramen to me.
It looks like ramen. That's a very weird looking ramen.
It's just noodles.
Yeah. Looks like a limp noodle.
I think I have a name for your car. Just based on all these bends and noodles, we should call it hot soup.
Okay. I can't believe you pulled that out. That was excellent, and that's actually not even a bad idea. Hot soup. Holy. Yeah.
I could read on your face that you saw where I was going with it.
I had a rough idea. I was like, oh,
here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Essentially, that very thing. That's
stage one.
That's it right there.
Okay, I'm going home.
It was another great day in the shop. We made some serious progress on the Z today. We're working on the center chassis area. Tim and I bent up the upper tube for the 4-tube main center chassis area, and that turned out really great. So I'm pretty stoked on where we left off. We have yet to do the passenger side. We're gonna do that off camera, toss it in. And on the next episode, we're gonna do all the triangulation to set all the tubes in space. So that'll kind of make it all make sense. You'll see it all in place. It'll start looking super race car. I'm pretty pumped about that. I hope you guys come back to watch that because this is starting to get super sick. This is awesome, boys.